And just come into an easy seated pose here, an easy cross-legged pose. This is called Sukhasana. So you can just cross your legs, flex the feet, and then rest the shins down into the arches of the feet. Just do that the best you can, okay? Don't get crazy about it. Don't freak out about it. Just do what you can. Pull the flesh away from the sitting bones, and you want to make sure here that your pelvis is neutral, meaning the front hip bones are level to the back hip bones. So you don't want the tailbone tucking under. You want to tilt the pelvis so that you're sitting right on top of the sitting bones, okay? And then reach the back of the crown of the head up towards the sky, and relax the shoulders away from the ears. Now we're going to have the palms turned down on the knees just to signify a little bit more grounding, okay? Close your eyes and take a couple cleansing breaths or a couple cleansing sighs. So breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth on a sigh. In general, the louder and stupider you feel, the better it feels for you. One of the advantages for sure to practicing at home. Okay, then as it feels good, please begin to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Letting your lips form a slight smile. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Good. So as you inhale, think about really expanding the ribs in every direction. So you're drawing the breath up. And then as you exhale, keep the spine long, but let the outer body soften. So let go of tension in the forehead, in the jaw, in the cheeks, in the neck, in the shoulders. On your inhale, expand. And on your exhale, soften. You could even think about softening and grounding down, connecting to the grounding energy of the earth. Good. So on your inhale, start to think I am. And on your exhale, think grounded. On your inhale, think I am. And on your exhale, grounded. And if grounded really doesn't resonate with you, you could think calm or stable or secure. Anything that really resonates with you that kind of has that same energetic effect. Do that a couple more times with your breath. Good. Now circle your hands together in front of your heart into prayer. And let's begin our practice with one Om. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, slowly let your head hang forward, but keep the rest of your back straight and bring your hands down to your knees. So just breathe here. If you're going through my yoga teacher trainings, I want you to please practice that Om with me. If you can't even do it at your house on your own, it's going to be really hard to do it in front of your students. And if you're not a teacher, it's also really good to practice. It helps strengthen your throat chakra and just helps you to find your voice and speak your voice. And speak your truth. And then slowly let your head roll over to one side. Draw the opposite shoulder away from the ear. And then roll the head forward to the other side. Forward into the first side. And forward into the second side. Bring your head back down to center. Take a breath. Blink your eyes open and slowly lift your head. So anytime you feel like you're working some energy up to the surface, inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, either on a sigh or just whatever, out through the mouth. It feels really good. And you're letting go of those things so that it doesn't land again in your body. Extend your legs out for just a moment and just rock them a little bit from side to side. Cross your legs again, pull the flesh away from the sitting bones, and let's come into a seated forward fold here. So do a big shoulder roll, inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, start to tip the pelvis forward. Okay, on your inhale, lengthen, and on your exhale, tilt the pelvis forward. So notice that my spine is not rounding. I'm not rounding my spine. The only movement in my spine is movement in space forward and back, but I'm keeping it nice and long. I'm keeping it in that same position. The movement is coming from the pelvis. Okay, so you're tipping the pelvis forward. It's kind of like you're going to feel like you're trying to stick your booty out. Okay, so on your inhale, lengthen, exhale, tilt. It's not about rounding and bringing the head down. Okay, that takes the stretch out of the place where we actually want it, which is more in the hips and the glutes. And then slowly come up and switch it out however you like. I like to be kind of fancy with it and switch it out. Pull the flesh away from the sitting bones. It's yoga. Have fun. We take things way too seriously. All right, do a big shoulder roll. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, tilt. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, tilt. And breathe here. A lot of times I see people reaching forward with the head because they want to go further. Their ego wants to go further in the pose. So just draw the chin back slightly. Again, think about reaching the heart forward. Long spine, not rounded. Shoulders should feel plugged in. Good. And then slowly come up and extend the legs out in front and just rock a little bit from side to side. Now, don't kill me, you guys, but I'm going to have you lay down just for a couple breaths, okay? So I want you to lay down and have your feet on the floor and draw your right knee in towards your chest. If it feels good, extend your left leg out. So you might feel a stretch here in the hip flexor and maybe even the quad. That's good. That's where you want to feel it. This is called Pavana or single knee hug. Again, if you're learning the Sanskrit, say it with me, Pavana Maktasana. Okay, now interlace your fingers actually behind your thigh. And as you inhale, start to reach the heel up. And as you exhale, bend it in. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, back down. Do two more. It might not go straight. That's not really the point. I want you to feel sensation here. No pain. Last one. Good. Bring the foot down to the ground and then draw the left knee in. If it feels good, extend your right leg out in front of you. Interlace your hands behind your left leg. Inhale, extend the heel up. Exhale, bend. So you're working with the breath. This is called vinyasa. Inhale up, where you're linking the movement to the breath. Exhale down. Keep going. Just feeling sensation, warming up the hamstrings. Last one. Good. Now bring both knees in towards your chest and cross your legs at your ankles. Rock and roll 3 times. 1, 2. Now if you can, see if you can roll up to the feet. Place your hands down in front of you and come on to the hands and knees. All right, so spread your fingers apart as far as you can comfortably here on your hands and knees. Have your pointer fingers pointing straight forward and really glue those knuckles down into the mat. Walk your knees back a couple inches and curl the toes under. Okay, on your inhale, lift the knees and hips up off the mat. Bend your knees, exhale, push your hips up and back. Let your head hang loose. Now here I want you to think about rolling your shoulders, your upper arms, like your biceps. Roll those out. It's like you're trying to close your armpits and then roll the forearms in at the same time. That'll help to keep your knuckles heavy. This is downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, working on getting in a straight line from the wrists all the way up to the hips. So really push into the knuckles and send the hips up and back. And then start to walk the dog here, bending and straightening the alternate legs. Full stretch. And then walk the feet forward towards the hands. Bring the feet as wide as the mat. Turn the toes in slightly. Hands to your shins. Inhale, reach the crown of the head forward. Grab your opposite elbows, bend your knees, and then exhale, fold. Let the head hang loose. So when the knees are bent, that just makes it less intense on the hamstrings. So you can start to straighten the legs if it feels good for you, but I don't want you to jam your knees straight and then your back's rounded. I want the low back to be long and feel like it's hanging, not compressed. So if you bend the knees, you're able to tilt the pelvis forward. See how I did that? And then point the tailbone up and really let the elbows hang down. Let the head hang. Feel free to bring a little bit of movement here if that would feel good, and let your arms hang down towards the ground. Does not matter if they touch. Hands to your shins again. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips and bend your knees. Inhale, slowly come up. Find your gazing points all the way up so you don't get dizzy. And then exhale, circle your hands together in front of your heart. I still get dizzy. Most times whenever I come up, I get dizzy. So just take a couple breaths there. Really push down into all four corners of the feet. Find that drishti, that gazing point, and breathe. As you inhale, draw the lower belly gently in and up. Expand the ribs in every direction, front, back, and sides. And as you exhale, ground down into all four corners of the feet. One more time. I am grounded. Am grounded. Awesome. All right, so now bring your feet together, arms by your sides. So for standing mountain pose, I do like to have the big toes touching if possible, or the bones right there under the big toes if possible. Now you probably can't see my feet. There we go. Okay, so grounding down into all four corners of the feet. If you feel too wobbly or if your legs kind of get in the way of your feet touching, just separate the feet like 1 or 2 inches, not too far. Okay, so exhale, ground down into all four corners of the feet. And then inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. You can bend your knees, tip your pelvis, let your arms and head hang. Inhale, come halfway up to your monkey pose. So wherever you need to go to get a flat back. Bend your knees, plant your hands. Exhale, step back to plank. You know, if you know me, you know I like to break down my vinyasas so we can do them correctly and build a lot of strength. Inhale, push forward so the shoulders come past the wrists. Bring your knees down. Exhale, lower down, squeeze the elbows in so the elbows point back. Chest lands before the belly if at all humanly possible. Uncurl the toes. Inhale, chest forward and up, push into the knuckles. Exhale, come down, curl the toes under. Inhale, push up in a straight line to plank or modified plank. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Sanskrit for this one, if you're learning. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Roll the shoulders away from each other to broaden the upper back. So close the armpits. Roll the forearms in, knuckles heavy. I am grounded. Pedal the feet a couple more times. I really want you to focus on getting into the backs of the legs here. Good. Okay, now come down to the hands and knees and then stand tall on the knees. Bring your right foot in front of you and then curl the back toes under. So here is where we're going to need the blocks actually. So have those handy. Okay, so push the hips forward so that the right knee ends up right on top of the ankle. Lengthen the tailbone down. Okay, and then again, you can start to push forward, but don't go so far to where you just drop into the pose and your booty pops out. Okay, you need to back out of it a little bit so you can engage the lower core. So navel to spine, lengthen the tailbone down. Okay, so here I want you to focus on feeling a stretch in the back leg, the quad, warming up the hip flexor. Back toes can be curled under for stability or uncurled. I like them curled under personally. It feels better for the knee. Arms up. Wrap the shoulders. That's how we do it in down dog as well. So it's good to practice it here. Roll the shoulders away from each other. If you have the space, bring your palms to touch. Actively lengthen the tailbone, lift the rib cage, relax the shoulders. Breathe. Nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose, or in through the nose, out through the mouth. I am grounded. Relax the face, relax the jaw. And bring the hands to the blocks. Okay, so from here, Bring your left knee back a little bit more. Hands are on the blocks. Now start to bring your hips back. Actually, before you do that, I want you to think about drawing the chest forward and the shoulders back. Now you're pretty much going to leave your torso and your shoulders exactly like this, but start to bring your hips back so that they end up right above the back knee. Okay, lift the front toes and ball of the foot. So adjust as you need to. Now this front leg might stay bent. I want you to focus on not letting the tailbone tuck under, which if you jam the leg straight, for a lot of you, the tailbone's gonna tuck under, okay? So bend the knee for a moment, stick your booty out, lift your tailbone up, okay? It should be pointing back. See how my tailbone's pointing back, not under? Point it out, back. Then draw the chest forward. See how my back's nice and long? I'm not rounded, right? Chest forward, shoulders back, and then only straighten the leg as far as you can go, keeping your alignment, keeping your tailbone lifted, keeping your chest forward, shoulders back. The goal, surprise, surprise, is not to straighten the bottom leg. It is to feel sensation. Breathe. This is called Ardha Hanumanasana. So Ardha means half, half splits. Okay, bend the knee and just really open the heart. Inhale here, exhale, half splits. Inhale, bend, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, both blocks inside of the right foot. Walk the right foot over to the right side of the mat. You can turn the toes out slightly. Right knee is directly on top of the ankle. Knee is pointing in the same direction as the toes. Make sure not to dump into the outside edge of the foot here. Keep all four corners of the foot down. Hips are square. Can come down onto the forearms. Breathe. Keep the hips square, like I said. Try not to dump off to the side. Breathe. Relax the face, relax the jaw. This is modified lizard because the back knee's down, which I just prefer. I think it feels better personally. Okay, and then slowly come up and we'll switch it out. So bring your right knee back and bring your left foot in front. For Anjaneyasana, kneeling warrior. Back toes curled under. Lengthen the tailbone. Get your pelvis into the neutral position. Push the front knee forward so the knee ends up on top of the ankle, not past. Feeling the stretch in the quad, warming up the hip flexor. Arms up. Close the armpits. Relax the shoulders. Actively lengthen the tailbone. Lift the rib cage. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Breathe. If it's available to you, palms touch. Find your gazing point. I am grounded. If you heard my dog whining, it's because it's thundering and he hates thunder. I am grounded. Good. Bring your hands to your blocks. Walk your foot out in front of you a little bit and then bring the hips back so that they end up over the back hip. Now please bend the front knee for a moment. Lift your tailbone instead of letting it tuck. Lift it up. Draw the chest forward, shoulders back. So think about drawing your chest towards the big toe, not rounding the head down. Okay, so if you can keep all that alignment, then you can begin to straighten the leg. That is not the goal. I'm just going to say it again, okay? It's not the goal. As soon as you make that the goal, then all of your alignment usually falls out of place. If you feel sensation in the back of the leg, awesome, you're doing it right. Okay, good. Now bend the knee, inhale, draw the chest forward, Anjaneyasana. Variation with the hands down. Exhale, bring it back, hips back. Keep drawing the chest forward, no rounded back. Inhale. Forward, shoulders back. Exhale, hips back. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, Hands inside of the left foot. Walk the left foot over. You can turn the toes out slightly. Make sure that the knee is pointing in the same direction as the toes and it is directly on top of the ankle. You can come onto the forearms, just lowering the blocks to where it feels good. Please keep your hips square. Don't dump off to the sides. Continue drawing the chest forward and the shoulders back. And breathe here. Relax the face. I am grounded. Make sure where we are at it on time. Okay. And then come up to the hands and knees and bring the left knee back. All right, so now just move your blocks off to the side and lay down onto your belly. Come up onto the forearms for Sphinx pose. Uncurl the toes, draw the chest forward, shoulders back. Then you can just let the left forearm come in a little bit. Reach back, bend your right knee, and grab either the toes or the ankle. If you can grab the ankle, flex the foot. If you can't grab, it's okay. You can always grab your pants, or you could always use something like anything that you have around the house that you could use, like a towel or a scarf or anything like that. Even if you need to bring the knees apart to make the grab, that's fine. Just make sure that you bring the knee back so that it's parallel. Okay, now if you don't feel a stretch in the quad, I want you to think about coming down, bring your forehead onto your forearm. If you still don't feel a stretch, tuck the tailbone and reach the right knee back. And then switch it out. Good job. Again, not feeling pain, just sensation. Keep breathing. I am grounded. All right, awesome. Make your way back up to your downward facing dog. And then bring your big toes together to touch. And lift your right leg up towards the sky. You'll probably feel more of a stretch in the bottom leg. Bend the knee, open the hips. Now let's come into pigeon. So start to bring your knee towards your chest, and please place the right knee to the outside of the right wrist. Foot swings over towards the left. Don't grab the foot and yank it up. Does not matter if the shin's parallel to the front of the mat, okay? Again, that's not the goal. The goal is to feel sensation in the hip and the glute. So if you do need to feel more sensation, curl the back toes under and then walk it back. Okay, we're gonna just stay a little bit lifted for this pose because we're not quite done. I don't want you to get too relaxed just yet. So breathing here in your upright pigeon. Try to keep the hips square. You don't want to dump off to the side. Back leg is parallel to the long edge of the mat. All right, now come back to your down dog however you can. Lift the leg up, move it around, do what you need to do, straighten her back out, and switch it out. Open the hip. And then bring your left knee to the outside of the left wrist. Foot swings over to the right. Don't grab the foot. I know a lot of you that have been practicing is just like second nature. Curl the back toes under and walk it back. Back leg is parallel to the long side of the mat. Keep your heart lifted here. And breathe. You guys want to learn the Sanskrit for this one? I'll tell you something. I learned the Sanskrit for this one like one of the first things I learned just because it sounds so impressive. Are you ready? Eka. Now you say it. Pada. Raja. Kapo. Tasana. Okay, so Eka, that's one word. Pada, that's one word. Rajakapotasana. All right, good. Release, come back to your down dog, bring the leg up, move it around, do what you need to do. And then come back down to the hands and knees. All right, are you ready for a pinnacle pose? Yay, whoop whoop, it splits, right? You knew that. Hanumanasana, grab your blocks. I'm gonna tell you a little secret here, okay? So your splits, well, you've actually already done them. You did half splits. So your variation of the splits might be half splits, but you're more flexible now because we've warmed up and your body's just more open. So you might bring your front foot forward an inch. Boom, you're doing splits. Okay, I hate whenever I hear people say, I can't do splits. It's like, you can't do that? I know you can do that. Okay, most people can do this. Not everybody, but most people. If you can do this, you can do your splits, okay? So get that out of your mind. So bring your right foot forward. And what you're going to do is just start to kind of walk your back knee back. This kind of looks like Anjaneyasana, right? Okay, so now you're just bringing the hips back and then just walk the front foot forward to where you can. So maybe you're right here and maybe you want to keep the front knee bent a little bit because it takes some of that pressure off the hamstring. So look how I'm like in a really deep lunge actually. This feels really good. And it does not really it doesn't hurt my hamstring. Okay, so even if you wanted to come here, if you could kind of set there. I've actually never done it with this front knee bent so much like this, and I really like it. I would love to know in the comments, you guys, if this feels more accessible for you. I wish that they made blocks a little bit higher because sometimes this isn't high enough, but just beware that the blocks, they will fall, okay? They're not made out of concrete. They're not glued to the ground, so they might fall. So just be careful. So you can just hold here and you can breathe. And if you can't go that far and you don't have any blocks, then just, stay a little bit more like this or something. But as you can, then you'll just walk more and more out. And I personally like to move around a little bit in this, like go from side to side, just to get into the hamstring and the hip. And honestly, it feels so good going up the left side. Like the hip flexor and going all the way up the psoas there. Psoa, I guess. Is it psoa if it's singular? I don't know. I'm not a pro at everything, you guys. So, and you don't have to be either. So if you want to be a yoga teacher, just keep that in mind. Okay? You don't have to know everything. That would be impossible. And really, who wants to go to somebody who's a know-it-all, right? All right, switch it out however you can. So yay, congratulate yourself. Give yourself a clap. You just did splits. So again, you're just kind of work yourself into it. So just kind of go forward in a lunge, come back in the half splits, come forward, and just go to where it feels good for you. Use those blocks. Keep the front knee pretty bent. If that feels good for you, it's okay. Does not make you a better yogi because you can go into the splits. And I think that's what a lot of beginner yogis think, and actually even more advanced yogis. But the truth is, you're a great yogi if you do yoga. That's it. That's all you do. You just have to do yoga and you have to come to your mat. And you know what? Your yoga might look like meditation. That's what I do every day. So meditation is one of the 8 limbs of yoga. It's not all about asana, you guys. Okay, so again, just kind of working your way into it. You'll notice that one side is going to be a lot different than the other side. My left side isn't as great. And I'm sure it's also because whenever I'm taking pictures or anything like that, I always just do the right side. And if you were ever in gymnastics or did like cheerleading or anything, you probably had one side that you always just did. And so that side's just obviously going to be a little bit easier. And come out of it however you can. It's all right if it's not graceful. Again, let's not take it so seriously, right? Okay, So we've done a lot of poses. This is just kind of what's going through my mind. And for those of you that are teachers, so we've done a lot of poses that are asymmetrical, right? We did one leg forward, other leg forward, one leg forward, other leg forward. So now I want to do some symmetrical poses, which means that both of the legs are doing the same thing, okay? So we'll come into bound angle pose. Now this is an easy one for the tailbone to tuck under. So you got a block? Prop yourself up on that block so that you can start to tip the pelvis forward, okay? So bring the soles of the feet together, pull the flesh away from the sitting bones, start to tip the pelvis forward, and try to keep your torso long, your spine long, when you're not rounding into it, okay? Long. Tilt the pelvis forward, draw the chest forward, shoulders back. Hands can be on the shins or they can be down on the ground. But notice how I'm not rounding into it, okay? Because I don't want the stretch to be taken out of the legs. I want this to feel really nice on the hips and the glutes because we just really got into them a lot, okay? So just kind of thanking them. Thank you. I know, I'm weird. It's okay. I've been telling my students at one of the places that I teach, the only place I teach in person right now, that the weirder and dumber you feel, the better that you're getting from it, the more you're getting from it. Gotta let go and don't take it so seriously, all right? Come on up. We need more happiness and lightness in our lives, especially right now, right? Extend your legs out and just rock them a little bit from side to side. Also during this practice, we've done a lot of forward bending stuff, all right? So I just want to give a chance for the upper body to really open. So let's move into a pose called Purvottanasana. So bring your hands behind you, place them on the floor, fingertips pointing towards the heels, okay? And then bend your knees, place your feet onto the ground. Feet are even, they're hip width, so about 3-4 inches apart. Push into the hip or push into the feet and lift the hips up. So from here, you also want to push into the hands and lift the shoulders so that maybe you're in a straight line from the knees to the hips to the head. I personally like to keep the chin tucked a little bit. It does not feel good for my neck to drop the head back, but you can bring the head back, but do it slowly. Don't just drop it. Don't let it fall. But really push forward. Feel the stretch in the front of the body. Good. And then slowly come down. And lay all the way onto your back. Bring both knees in towards the chest and just rock a little bit from side to side. Bring your feet to the ground. Extend your legs out in front of you. Bring your feet about as wide as the mat and just let them fall where they naturally go. Most feet fall out, but maybe your feet fall in, whatever. Just let them fall where they naturally go. If you feel pain in your low back, you could roll something up and put it in under your knees, or bend your knees, feet on the ground, feet wide, knees together. Only do that if you've got some low back crunchiness going on. Otherwise, legs out, let them fall out, arms by the sides a little wider than the mat. Roll the shoulders under the back, soften the chest. Make sure the chin isn't jutting forward. Pull it back just a little bit so you have a natural curve in the neck. Close your eyes. Take a couple cleansing sighs, in through the nose, out through the mouth. The stupider and louder, the better. Good. And then just start to find a natural rhythm of breath. Breathing in through the nose. And out through the nose. Expanding on the inhale. And softening on the exhale. Let go of any tension in the face, the forehead, the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw, the throat, the shoulders. Move all the way down the body and just let go. Let your entire body be limp, loose, and relaxed. Let the ground carry your body weight and let yourself just drift off to that place right before you fall asleep. So if a thought comes into your mind, acknowledge it. That's interesting. Hey there, thought. And then just let it go. Try not to attach to any thoughts. As soon as you notice that you are attached to it, that you kind of let yourself go down the rabbit hole with that thought, that's okay. Acknowledge it. let it go and drift off. Enjoy these last few moments here of Shavasana, our final resting pose. Start deepening your breath. Bring some movement back to the fingers and toes. And reach your arms overhead and your feet towards in the opposite direction. Maybe arch the back a little bit. It feels good. Maybe go from side to side. And then bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, roll onto your right hand side using your right arm for a pillow. Just take a couple breaths here, feeling the lungs and ribs expand in every direction. And with the strength of your arms, slowly push yourself up to an easy seated pose. Let your head be the last thing to come up. Put your non-dominant leg in front for your easy seated pose, Sukhasana, and pull the flesh away from the sitting bones. Let your palms be open on your knees now, eyes closed. Bring your chin parallel to the ground to lengthen the spine. Come back to your breath. And just notice here how you're feeling. Compare how you're feeling now to how you were feeling when you first sat down on your mat with me today. Notice if you do feel a little bit more grounded or calm, stable, secure. Just know that this place is always within you, okay? It's always within you. You can always come back here through meditation, through yoga, through supportive community. Beautiful. And circle your hands together in front of your heart into prayer. Let's show gratitude for our practice and close our time together with one Om. Take a deep breath in. And then you can bow your head, bring your thumbs from your heart center up to your third eye, acknowledging the energy that's within you, around you, connects us all together, never goes away. That energy within me acknowledges that energy within you, and I thank you so much for letting me guide you through your practice today. Namaste.